Strategy. What is it? It's one of those elusive concepts that everyone seems to have an opinion on, yet no two people can quite agree on a definition. It's a buzzword that gets tossed around in boardrooms, classrooms, and coffee shops alike. The irony is that strategy is arguably the most critical question in the world of business. The success or failure of entire organizations, and by extension, economies, hinges on how well we can grasp and articulate this concept. To tackle the question, what is strategy? We can turn to the insights of Michael Porter, a name synonymous with strategic thought. In his 1996 article for Harvard Business Review, he laid out a framework that remains relevant today. Porter boiled down strategy to a simple dichotomy. You're either doing what everyone else is doing, but doing it more efficiently, or you're doing something unique that no one else can replicate. It's a binary choice, really. But here's the catch, you can't do both. To figure out which path to take, organizations must deeply understand their core competencies and unique value propositions. Porter emphasizes that a strategy isn't just about operational excellence. It's about defining what makes your organization valuable to customers. Customers don't buy from you because you're efficient. They buy from you because you solve a problem they have or meet a need they can't fulfill elsewhere. If your product costs more than it's worth, or arrives late, it doesn't matter how clever or innovative it is. So, what is strategy? It's about making choices. It's about deciding what to do, and crucially, what not to do. Porter's insights remind us that a good strategy is not just a collection of lofty goals, but a clear, actionable plan that aligns with the organization's unique strengths. It's about having a long-term vision and the discipline to stick to it, which means making trade-offs. But here's where the plot thickens. Strategy is only half the story. Enter execution, the underappreciated sister of strategy. While strategy gets the spotlight, execution often gets relegated to the background, treated as a mere afterthought. But without effective execution, even the best strategies will falter. What is strategy execution? It's the ability of an organization to take a well-defined strategy and break it down into actionable tasks. It's about understanding what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, and who is responsible for doing it. Execution is the engine that drives the strategy forward, and it requires a daily, relentless focus on getting the details right. Yet, too often, organizations find themselves in a frustrating limbo after crafting their strategic plans. Employees look around, confused, asking, now what? The sad reality is that many strategy execution efforts stumble or stall altogether. The statistics are sobering. Companies only deliver about 63% of the financial performance that their strategies promise. Half of well-formulated strategies fail to produce expected results due to poor execution. So, why does this gap exist? It's often because execution is seen as a given, not a discipline that requires attention and skill. The common pitfalls include a lack of meaningful strategy, insufficient resources, poor planning, and ineffective communication. When execution is neglected, it can lead to a demoralized workforce and a failure to meet objectives. Let's take a moment to appreciate what execution truly entails. It's not just about checking boxes, it's about doing things right. It's the janitor who ensures the workplace is clean and welcoming, the manager who coaches their team to peak performance, and the coder who takes the time to eliminate bugs from their work. Each of these roles contributes to a culture of excellence that is difficult for competitors to replicate. Execution is the foundation of operational excellence. It's about delivering high-quality products and services consistently. When an organization excels at execution, it minimizes waste, reduces costs, and ultimately increases profitability. It's not just a side note, it's a core competency that can set a company apart in a crowded marketplace. Now, let's talk about how to achieve and sustain this operational excellence through effective strategy execution. Leaders must ask themselves critical questions. What activities can we cut or outsource to focus on what we do best? Do we have the right people and resources to build our core competencies? Is our management team fully engaged in executing the strategy, not just measuring results, but actively supporting improvement? It's essential to identify the key individuals who will drive the strategy forward and ensure they are recognized and rewarded for their contributions. Organizations must also invest in programs that build critical capabilities, whether through new technologies, processes, or training initiatives. The alignment between strategy and execution, often referred to as FIT, is crucial for superior performance. It's not enough to have good capabilities. Organizations must integrate them into a cohesive system that supports their strategic objectives. When strategy and execution are aligned, it creates a powerful engine for success. Consider two hypothetical companies pursuing the same strategy. Company is focused and excellent, with execution scores across various activities consistently above 80%. Company B, on the other hand, is unfocused and distracted, with scores that drag down its overall performance. The difference is staggering. Company A's execution score might be around 68%, while Company B struggles at just 15%. The implications are clear. Having more activities doesn't guarantee success. If those activities are performed poorly, it leads to increased complexity, slower response times, and higher costs. In today's fast-paced business environment, agility and excellence in execution are essential. Let's take a historical example to illustrate this point. In the 1980s, Japanese firms dominated global markets due to their operational efficiencies. They were faster, better, and cheaper. But over time, many of these companies allowed execution to overshadow strategy. They became complacent, mimicking their competitors without a clear differentiating strategy. The result: 2 decades of stagnation known as the lost decades. This serves as a stark reminder that operational effectiveness, while vital, is not enough on its own. Execution cannot compensate for a lack of strategy, just as strategy cannot make up for poor execution. Organizations must recognize that both elements are intertwined. Leadership plays a pivotal role in bridging the strategy-execution gap. Great leaders articulate the differentiating capabilities that their organizations must excel at to realize their strategic vision. They ensure alignment on priorities and empower their teams to focus on what truly matters. Fit is achieved when companies make deliberate choices about who they are and what they do. A well-defined strategy expresses what an organization does exceptionally well and why it matters. This alignment creates a competitive advantage that is difficult for others to replicate. To ensure that strategy and execution are aligned, leaders should regularly assess their organization's capabilities and identify any barriers to fit. They must ask tough questions. Are resources available to support strategic initiatives? Do employees have the training and tools they need to excel? In today's business landscape, finance professionals have a unique opportunity to contribute to strategy execution. By building strong relationships across the organization and providing insights from operational data, they can help bridge the gap between strategy and execution. Management accountants, for example, should move beyond traditional roles and become active participants in strategy execution. They can leverage organizational data to monitor key performance indicators and raise awareness around strategy execution gaps. Ultimately, the process of strategy execution must be bidirectional. It's not just the job of executives, it's a responsibility shared by everyone in the organization. When employees at all levels feel accountable for results and are willing to collaborate toward achieving both individual and organizational goals, that's when true alignment occurs. So, let's recap. Strategy and execution are two sides of the same coin. While strategy sets the direction, execution ensures that we get there. Both require attention, skill, and a commitment to excellence. In a world where competition is fierce and change is constant, organizations that master the art of strategy execution will emerge as the true leaders in their fields. Let's not forget that execution is where the magic happens. It's the difference between a plane gathering dust on a shelf and a thriving organization that delivers real value to its customers. The underappreciated sister of strategy deserves the spotlight, and it's time we recognize her for the vital role she plays in driving success. So, let's embrace execution as not just a task, but as a core competency that will propel us forward into the future.